Fighting is intensifying between the Israeli military and Iran's proxy group Hezbollah in Lebanon, despite a ceasefire. The IDF issuing new evacuation orders for several towns and villages this week in southern Lebanon amid a recent barrage of strikes. It comes as a humanitarian group is issuing a new warning about a deepening crisis in Lebanon as people continue to be forced from their homes by the conflict. A new report from the United Nations and Lebanon's Ministry of Agriculture says more than 1.2 million people in Lebanon could face acute hunger between now and August, which is about a quarter of the people living in the country. Joining me now is World Central Kitchen chef Aline Kamakian in Beirut. Aline, thank you so much for making time to speak with us today. And you were on this show just a few weeks ago telling us about your work trying to feed families in Lebanon. Since then, this report has come out warning of a food crisis. How concerning is this assessment to you?
Well, it's very concerning because the amount of the people that are in the state of acute food insecurity is huge. Recent reports speak about 24% of the population. This is out of 4, and it's around 1,240,000 people that are without food. 43% of the population, of the Lebanese population, are in need of humanitarian aid. World Central Kitchen is doing an enormous job. We're preparing more and distributing more than 25,000 meals per day. But again, the need is going much faster. Now the internally displaced people has risen up to 1.3 million people, and only a few thousand, 100,000 of them are in shelters, primitive shelters. So things are getting every day worsen. You have daily still from 50 to 70 airstrike. You have new warnings, new areas that is being evacuated. Nothing is stopping them. Nothing is stopping the war of continuing, and people are getting more and more desperate.
Such difficult conditions. Can you tell me more about what you have seen there on the ground? Are you noticing shortages of food, and has it been harder to access the ingredients you would need to make a basic meal?
It is getting, still we can access, but it's getting much more expensive. It's getting really expensive. You have the international inflation that is affecting, and you have the Lebanese war that is affecting. So you have prices has risen up very fast. And what is the situation is that people cannot afford anymore, whether they are affected from the war or from poverty. You have both. That is it's creating a huge crisis.
And the UN report did talk about displacement, which you also mentioned, of people as one of the factors that's obviously contributing to this crisis. But it also mentions the conflict, which is disrupting farming and supply chains. So how much of an impact is that having?
You have to know that 65% of the agricultural land in Lebanon are located in the south and the Bekaa. Both of them are are heavily bombarded right now, and white phosphorus and whatever you want. So you don't have an agriculture right now, pure agriculture in Lebanon. You have most of the farmers became internally displaced people. So the agriculture is very weak. You have also the infrastructure. So there is no irrigation, there is no water. So you have this also that is affecting. So Lebanon is depending most of it, 80 to 90% on importation. So this is what makes everything much more difficult and much more heavy to continue. You have more than 49,000 olive trees that are deliberately derooted, and so you have all the trees and everything that is being burned. So this is also affecting a lot. In the south only, you have 40% of the farmers that they cannot arrive to their lands.
And officially, there is a ceasefire in place for now between Israel and Hezbollah. But as we've mentioned and noted, the fighting does continue. So has the ceasefire helped to alleviate the humanitarian situation at all, in your view, these last few weeks?
Well, the ceasefire is a complete joke. Okay, so I don't know how to explain, but the ceasefire made things worse, I guess, because people thought that they can go back to their, try to find their houses, try to find their homes, but unfortunately it's a complete farce. So the ceasefire, people started to go back to the south, trying to find their houses, whatever left of it. Unfortunately, the bombardment restarted. So we as humanitarian, we were like, a bit, it's very difficult to arrive every place to distribute food because of the road, because of the people that are on the road, and the war that the roads got bombarded. You cannot arrive every place. So the ceasefire, I'm sorry, but it's a complete farce. No.
Aline, and in the short time that we have left, what do you make of the response from the international community? And do you think enough is being done to help Lebanon right now?
Well, there's World Central Kitchen is here. There's a lot of NGO that working, but unfortunately, the need is so big that all of us together, we're not able to cover it. It's a huge, the need is huge. International community is acting as if there is no war. But here on the ground, there is a huge, we're getting hit every day. So the need is huge. I don't know if we continue like this, it's a catastrophe.
Chef Aline Kamakian, thank you so much for your time today and for your important efforts. We really appreciate it.
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.